Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the beautiful Church of the River. My name is Mike Schooler, and I use he, him pronouns. I have the distinct honor of serving today as your lay leader. I will be working with Christine Fox, who will be our guest speaker today. Christine is a community organizer, scholar, and writer. She holds a BBA in Management Information Systems from UALR, the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, a Master of Arts in Christian Ministry degree with a specialization in social justice, and has just started her Doctor of Ministry program in religious communication and public theology at Memphis Theological Seminary, with an expected graduation date of May 2028. She's also a governing board member and delegate with Micah. She's an Air Force brat and grew up moving every couple of years. She has lived in Memphis for 28 years and now considers herself an almost native Memphian. You are welcome here today. In the rich assortment of languages, cultures, and hues, each contributing to the mosaic of our shared humanity, you are welcome here. In the various ways you navigate and express your gender, in the authenticity of self-expression, you are welcome here. In the depth and breadth of your love, in the myriad forms that it takes, you are welcome here. Whether your heart brims with laughter or weighs with heavy with tears, in every emotion you bring to this sacred space, you are welcome here. So come, join us with open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands, because together we embark on this journey of community and connection together. You are welcome here today. Everyone is encouraged and welcome to engage with our soul work materials that are found in the bookshelf in the rear of the sanctuary. Many folks of all ages find that busy hands make for a calm body and a focused mind. Also, as we settle in, make sure you silence your electronic devices. If you're new here, we are glad you found us. Please talk to people, tell them that you're new. We hope that in this community, you will experience the warmth and love of this congregation. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can find our newcomer form by scanning the QR code in the order of service that you've been given. And we invite you to pick up a welcome bag that are back on the back credenza back there on your way out. Please take a note of the announcements printed in your order of service, and you can also scan that QR code to see the full list of announcements in this week's newsletter. I now invite the music of the choir to draw us deeper into this moment as we enter into worship together.
God, our Maker, we honor the sacred multitude that resides in you. May the guardian in you protect us. May the child in you delight in us. May your ashes resurrect us. May the friend in you challenge us. May your sky shelter us. May the mystery of you liberate us. provide abundance and healing in all forms to those who need it today, and deliver us from shame, hatred, and the chains that bind us. For you have made us, and we are still being made. Amen. We light this chalice for the challenge of freedom, the goal of equality, and the warmth of community. May all who gather here offer and find the blessings of acceptance, loving kindness, and a grateful heart.
We invite you to rise in body or in spirit as you are able to sing the first hymn in your books, hymn number 278, Praise Be to God the Almighty.
Good morning, everyone. You may be seated. My name is Jessica Lakeman. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as your Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at Church of the River. And this morning is our, albeit a little bit rainy, therefore indoor, trunk or treat, our own Halloween celebration. I love this Sunday. I love the costumes and the decorations, the laughter and the pumpkins. It all reminds me how much joy and creativity lives in this community. And as you all can see, I have come as a butterfly. Butterflies, have always fascinated me because they remind us that change is an essential part of life. They begin as caterpillars crawling and munching through leaves, and then one day, they suddenly know that it's time to start spinning a cocoon, and from the outside, everything looks still and quiet. Have any of you ever grown butterflies at home? They give you a little kit, and you have the caterpillars, yeah? A few of you, kind of, maybe. But for weeks, you just have these little chrysalis hanging out. From the outside, it really doesn't look like anything's happening. But on the inside, everything's changing. I have a short story for you about a little girl who found a cocoon, a chrysalis, in her backyard. She went out and she checked on it and watched it every single day, wondering what kind of creature was inside. Then one morning, she saw it begin to move, begin to wiggle on the leaf, and then a tiny crack showed in its shell, and then a small, wet butterfly began struggling to push its way out. The girl felt sorry for it. It was stuck, or so it appeared. So she ran inside, grabbed her scissors, and really carefully, she just snipped the cocoon open just a little bit, just to help. The butterfly slipped out easily, but something was wrong. Its wings were soft and crumpled, and it never learned to fly. The struggle, it turned out, was the key. How the butterfly's wings grow strong enough to lift it into the air. Without that struggle, the butterfly can't soar. The girl felt sad at first, but she also learned something really important. Sometimes we all need space and time to do our own work of growing strong, even when it looks hard from the outside. I think autumn is a bit like that moment in the cocoon. This is the time of year when nature starts to turn inward. When the leaves fall, the seeds rest underground, and the air grows cool and still. From the outside, it can look like things are ending, but really, the world is preparing quietly for what comes next. Where's my pumpkin? This pumpkin, like all others, started as a seed buried deep in the soil, and it had to push through the dirt, endure rain and wind, and wait patiently before it could grow strong enough vines and leaves and buds to bloom and bear fruit. People and communities are the same. Sometimes, maybe even most often, growth comes through struggle. Sometimes we have to let go of old ways in order to make room for new ones. Sometimes we have to trust that something beautiful is forming even when we can't see it yet. And that's one of the reasons that we gather here each week, to remind one another that transformation is sacred work. It's how we become stronger, kinder, and more whole together. Today, our guest speaker, Ms. Catherine Fox, will help us think a little more deeply about that kind of growth and healing, how we care for ourselves, for each other, and for the world around us. So as you listen today, as you go through your week, whether here in the sanctuary or out there later, showing off your costumes today or later this week, I invite you to wonder, what are you growing right now? What helps you feel strong? And what kind of wings are you growing for yourself and for the world? Now, I invite the grown-ups to join me in blessing our young people as we send them off to their classes Grown-ups, if you'll raise your blessing hands in the air and repeat after me, you are beloved. You are sacred. You are powerful. Go in peace.
Good morning. All right. As you were told earlier, my name is Christine Fox. I use she, her pronouns, and I am going to read 2 poems by Rupi Kaur, one of my favorite poets. The first poem is called Kaur, a woman of Sikhi. The name Kaur makes me a free woman. It removes the shackles that try to bind me, uplifts me to remind me I am equal to any man, even though the state of this world screams to me I am not, that I am my own woman and I belong wholly to myself and the universe. It humbles me, calls out, and says I have a universal duty to share with humanity, to nurture and serve the sisterhood, to raise those that need raising. The name Kaur runs in my blood. It was in me before the word itself existed. It is my identity and my liberation. And the second poem does not have a title. Most importantly, love, like it's the only thing you know how. At the end of the day, all this means nothing. This page, where you're sitting, your degree, your job, the money, nothing even matters except love and human connection. Who you loved and how deeply you loved them, how you touched the people around you, and how much you gave them.
And it's time now to take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit and to support this church and its ministries. Donations may be made by scanning the QR code in the printed order of service, via text to 901-350-2686, or on the website at www.churchoftheriver.org. One thing I might mention, we're not doing joys and sorrows today, so please hold filling out those slips until next week, and the gifts of the congregation will now be most gratefully given and received.
God at midday, would you who sustains us daily grant us what is needed to endure until evening as we return to our work, our relationships, and all that looms ahead. Gift us with an imagination for life lived outside of the tyranny of exhaustion and dislocation. May the same magic that unites every part of you so too keep us whole through our days, that we would know our bodies, that we would feel our emotions, and that we would remain near to our interior worlds by the divine spirit which remembers us. Amen. Good morning again. So y'all will have to forgive my awkwardness. This is only my third time doing this, so I'm a little... So thank you all for your warm welcome to both Anita and I. And thank you to Reverend Lynn for inviting us. It is truly an honor to be here. So, and this is going to be, again, additionally awkward because I'm having to read my sermon off of my phone instead of my tablet, which has decided not to work. All right. So today, I want to talk about community as resistance. Those words might sound simple, but they carry centuries of struggle, hope, and responsibility. When we think of resistance, we often imagine protest marches, sit-ins, strikes. Those things do matter deeply. But today, I want to invite us to consider a deeper form of resistance, one that begins not in the streets, but in our hearts, minds, and souls. It's the resistance that begins when we refuse to let harm, hierarchy, or hatred define who we are. It's the resistance of remembering that our humanity is bound up with each other's. We are each called to different places and relationships as we journey through the seasons of life. Our calling is not static. It shifts with time as we grow and become more aware of ourselves and the world we inhabit. But there is a thread that runs throughout. We are always and everywhere called toward what brings us closer to our shared humanity. That calling, that pull toward one another, is what organizations like Micah help us to live out. Groups like Micah remind us that faith is not just a private conviction, but a public practice of justice. Micah gives people across Memphis from different congregations, neighborhoods, and traditions the tools to work together. The tools to work with, together. Oh my goodness, I've lost my place now. I'm so sorry. Gives people across Memphis from different congregations, neighborhoods, and traditions the tools to work together, and a community that works to resist systemic oppression together. Through our work at Micah, we learn that we do not have to face injustice alone, and that when we act collectively, our voices carry the moral power to change policies, to shift narratives, and to transform lives. Micah is what it looks like when calling becomes community. When people come together, not simply to believe, but to build. It shows us that resistance is not just protest, but relationship. It's ordinary people reclaiming their agency, their dignity, and their hope in the face of systems that would deny them. So the question for us in this moment, in this world that is so gravely wounded, is this: how are we being called right now to reclaim our places and our people from that which would cause harm? How are Memphians being called in this moment? How are we being called to restore what has been broken within our relationships, our histories, and our hearts? To answer that question honestly, we will have to tell the truth about where we come from. We live in a society shaped by white supremacy and Christian nationalism, by capitalism and patriarchy. These are not just ideologies. They are spiritual and relational wounds that we carry individually and collectively. White supremacist ideology is not just something that harms people of color, although that harm has certainly been devastating and generational. It also distorts and damages the humanity of white people. It teaches white people to numb ourselves to the suffering of others, to confuse dominance with safety, to mistake privilege for worth. It separates white communities from their own ancestral wisdom, from their own capacity for vulnerability and connection. It trains hearts to fear instead of to feel. So when we talk about healing, it is not just about reconciliation across racial lines. It is also about white people doing the difficult spiritual work of acknowledging history and healing the wounds that white supremacy has inflicted upon them as both perpetrators and victims of a system that promises power but delivers isolation and injury. Because until that healing happens, the cycle continues. Unacknowledged pain turns into defensiveness. Shame festers and becomes violence. Denial hardens into cruelty. Many of us are tempted to believe that if we can just fix the systems, rewrite policies, redistribute resources, reform institutions, we will finally achieve justice. And certainly, we must do those things. There is no doubt that we must dismantle systems of harm and oppression. But, and this is crucial, until we have acknowledged and healed our traumas, until we live in authentic relationship with each other, until we reconnect with our natural environment, everything that we build is subject to corruption. We must resist corruption by each of us doing our healing work. We must resist fascism by each of us working to heal our communities. That means learning how to sit with discomfort. It means learning how to tell the truth about our history, not to wallow in guilt, but to become honorable stewards of our own humanity, our families, and our communities. It means returning to our bodies, to the land, and to the relationships that remind us who we really are. Community itself, real community, is radical in a culture that profits from isolation and fear. To gather with one another, to listen deeply, to share stories, to care for one another, our children and our elders, to grow food together, to mourn together, to dream together. These are not small things. These are revolutionary acts. When we show up for each other, we undermine the logic of domination that says, you're on your own. When we build spaces where people can belong without having to earn it, we disrupt the economy of exclusion that props up white supremacy, patriarchy, and class hierarchy. To create community across race, class, and gender lines, to create community across race, class, gender, and faith is to say, we refuse to live as strangers to one another. We refuse to accept a world where anyone's dignity is negotiable. Healing, too, must be communal. We often think of healing as something personal and private, but the truth is, none of us can heal alone. We heal when we are in relationship. We heal when we are accountable. Community can and must become a laboratory of healing, a place where we practice forgiveness, truth-telling, setting boundaries, and transformation. It is where we unlearn scripts of domination and control and learn instead the language of mutual recognition. We learn about what psychoanalyst Jessica Benjamin calls the third, that sacred relational space where two beings meet as equals and co-creators of reality. That is what resistance looks like at the level of the soul. Our disconnection from one another is mirrored in our disconnection from the earth. White supremacy, capitalism, and colonialism all share the same ideology, the belief that the world exists to be owned, controlled, and exploited. But we are part of this earth, not masters of it. To heal ourselves, we must also heal our relationship with the land and with all living beings. When we plant trees, when we tend gardens, when we honor water and soil and wind as our kin, we practice a form of resistance. Resistance to extraction, resistance to alienation, resistance to the story that says we are all separate. Reconnecting with our natural environment is not just environmentalism, it is spiritual survival. Community as resistance requires hope. Not hope that ignores pain, but hope that holds pain and possibility at the same time. As we are reminded by grassroots organizer Mariam Kaba, hope is a discipline. It is what allows us to see beyond the ruins of what is, to glimpse what could be. And when we act from that kind of hope, grounded, relational, and collective, we embody the truth that love is stronger than fear. So let us ask ourselves, how are we being called in this moment to reclaim our places and our relationships from those that would cause harm? We are called to tell the truth about history, to study and to teach, to speak the names of the people, places, and cultures that are being erased. We are called to repair relationships that have been broken, to apologize, to forgive, to begin again. We are called to work with our hands, to grow food, to restore the soil, to protect the air and water. We are called to rest, to remind us all that rest itself is resistance in a world that values us only when we are productive. Whatever we are called to in this moment, it is part of something larger, a movement of healing that is long overdue. Community as resistance is not a catchy slogan. It must be a daily practice. It must look like choosing relationship over retreat. It must look like choosing vulnerability over violence. It must look like choosing truth over comfort. And it must look like choosing healing over harm. If we are to build a world free from the poison of white supremacy and Christian nationalism, from capitalism and patriarchy. It will not be because we have perfected our politics. It will be because we have reclaimed our humanity. Church of the River, we can dismantle systems of harm and oppression. We can have a revolution in Memphis, in this country, and across the world. But until we have acknowledged and healed our trauma, until we live in authentic relationship with each other, until we reconnect with our natural environment, everything that we build is subject to corruption. We resist this corruption by each of us doing our healing work. We resist fascism by working collectively to heal our communities. So let us begin again and again, every day, by gathering in community, by remembering who we are and whose we are, and by committing ourselves to the sacred work of healing, because healing is resistance. And community, real, loving, courageous community, is how we stay human in the face of fascism. Amen.
At this time, we invite you to rise in body or in spirit to sing hymn number 352, Find a Stillness. As we extinguish this flame, may the spirit of freedom guide our actions, may equality be our constant pursuit, and may the bonds of community stay strong. May we carry the blessings of acceptance, loving kindness, and a grateful heart with us, that we may offer them to a bruised and hurting world.
Listen to the cries for help that ring around you, and follow a path of healing and liberation for you and all you encounter. Take peace in the sound of your own voice as you choose the life that honors your truest self. May it be so.